if she's doing that shit in public, then
what is going on in private?
I don't even want to know.
Me neither.
He's like tied
She's
up.
She's probably like spoon feeding him with a bib and like wiping his ass.
Hey up, Freesiders. Welcome back to another episode of Drinks After Work with your hosts, Shannen and Abby, where we give you that after work happy hour energy and talk about everything other than work.
If you're new here, make sure you add us on Instagram. It's at drinksafterwork_ and on TikTok. We just posted my life.
Sure.
An autobiography? No. we posted a cutie little TikTok of the inside of my life because I refuse to do a day in my life TikTok like Shan did. So follow us on there. It's at Drinks After Work, no underscore. If you do follow us on Instagram, there's a link in our bio that has all the links that you need to our Facebook group, to our merch. What else is on there? Basically, you can find how to listen to us on other platforms.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of information about where you guys can stream Drinks After Work if you don't have Apple.
Speaking of streams,
what?
We hit a huge milestone last week.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Which we didn't find out about until literally the second we were done recording last week.
Yeah.
We made Peter, our producer, check. We were like, we're so close to 10K. Like, can you just check? Not only did we surpass 10K, but we were closer to 12 than to 10.
I know. That was amazing. I remember checking and we were like, eee!
I know.
So thank you guys so much for all of the support. I know we say it all the time and we sound silly, but we really do mean it. We would be nothing without you guys. And the fact that, you know, there are people out there that on a weekly basis decide that they're going to pick up their phone and listen to us talk. I think it's insane, but it's also really fun and cute. So thank you guys so much. We always say this, but it's just the beginning, and it was so great to hit that milestone, you know, right before our 1 year anniversary of starting this podcast.
If you guys are listening to this on Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday, is our 1 year anniversary of the first time that we ever posted a YouTube video. So this was honestly perfect timing, and like Shannon said, thank you guys so much.
So much for listening, watching us, and just bearing through all the technical difficulties that we've gone through over the past year. And we promise, if you guys do follow us on TikTok, we will start posting more. I know we've been saying that for a while, but we will start posting more.
Yeah. Okay, so I haven't literally seen you since we recorded last.
Yeah.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I know, I'm embarrassed and ashamed. So I've been actually up at the lake with my parents and my sister for like a week and a half now. They got like a house on the lake that they rented for 2 weeks, and I didn't take work off or anything, so I've been working remotely, but honestly, it has been the nicest time because we've just like relaxed, and it's been just like a time to just like slow down and not.
I'm so happy you needed that.
I did, because I like drove myself into like sickness a few weeks ago, because I feel like we've just been like going like nonstop, you know, traveling, going to all these different like events, parties, clubs, etc. since things opened up, and I feel like my body just reached like a stopping point where it was like, no. So
you're done.
It was perfect timing. So I've just been like chilling by the lake, hanging out with my family, and
that's so cute.
Yeah, I've just been like
the
reflecting.
Views are immaculate.
Amazing. Yes, it's been.
You're
so
literally
nice.
On the water.
It's been raining almost every day.
And I haven't been invited once, so it's kind of awkward.
It's like a 2-hour drive if you want to come.
I would drive anywhere for you.
Aw, well, you should come. Actually,
no,
they
I'm
would
busy.
love to.
I was in Boston this weekend.
Yeah,
rotting.
you booze bag. So I feel like you had a good weekend, like a fun weekend. I had FOMO. I saw you out and about.
Yeah.
I blocked you one night because I was like, I don't want to see her like out when I can't be there.
Didn't.
No, I didn't. I don't even know how to do that.
That would be so mean. Yeah. So if you guys listened to last week's episode, you know that I had a friend recently come back into my life who ditched me once. We made plans, and I said, 3 strikes, you're out. And I'm happy to report that it did not get to that point.
Did you tell her 3 strikes you're out?
No. So if she's listening, I'm sorry. She like
has
asked,
she hit a strike yet? Like has she?
Well, because she ditched me. Like we made plans and she ditched me. So I was like, if she ditches me 2 more times, like I'm done.
Okay, right. So she's on strike 2.
Well, no, because she came this weekend. She visited me.
No, I know, but she has 2 strikes left. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Well, I don't know, but if she ditched me 3 times in a row.
You know what's funny about you is I can see you like watching my phone because I just got a text and you're like, why are you not like I'm on do not disturb, but I'm still getting texts. So like explain. I just saw you glance down. I'm like, don't read my text.
Oh, I'm just like, I mean, I'm getting distracted. So like, how are you not?
I don't know. There's something
tell
wrong.
Michael to get fact.
It doesn't work. Do not disturb doesn't work for me. I guess my phone wants to be. It wants me to be disturbed.
When I think there's a setting where like you have to do it when it's like your phone is open and not just locked. Okay. I don't know. We'll revisit so that next week that doesn't happen. But yeah, so she came this weekend and she hasn't been to Boston since the pandemic. Like she would visit me before the pandemic, but we went out to Bodega and then after we went to West End Johnny's because she said she wanted to go dance. So I was like, okay, well, we're not going to the club, just us two. So I'll take you to West End Johnny's.
She wanted to go dancing at the Wedge. Dancing at the Wedge.
And freaking shout out to Erica, a fellow Boston baddie who came up to me at West End Johnny's and said she listened to the podcast. And
that's so fun.
My ego just she was like, are you Abby from Drinks After Work? I was like, who, me?
I feel like no one would ever notice me out and about because
you'd be surprised.
I don't know. I feel like I usually look like a creature, like crawling around, bopping around.
You look the furthest thing from a creature when you go out, so that's just not even remotely true. But Erica, it was so nice to meet you. She was the sweetest girl ever, and this is a PSA that if you do see us out in Boston, come say hi. We would love to meet you guys.
Yeah, that would be so fun. We also we have something like in the woodworks. No,
just in the works.
In the workshop. Yes, in the workshop.
We're workshopping.
We had like a wood shop class in high school. Never mind. Anyways, we have something in the workshop for a Drinks After Work event. It's gonna be like a good mixture of like bougie and boozy and super cute and fun. So details.
That's all we're gonna say.
That's all we'll say for now. We have to meet with our creative team over here.
AKA Buddy and Kyle.
AKA 2 people.
In order to 2 people that don't like to answer our emails. So
we're tracking them down and we're gonna make them answer us. But we have to get the details ironed out and then we'll probably announce it like on the Facebook group. So if you guys have not joined yet, please join the Boston Baddies Facebook group. We have over 2,000 girls now that are members.
Dude, we're closer to 3 than we are.
Amazing.
Because like we have 2.5 and we have like.
And you round up.
Well, no, we have 300 requests. That I just haven't gone through.
There we go. So yeah, join the Facebook page. That's where we announce. I mean, that's where you can meet people, obviously. But if you want to hear from us, that's where we will be announcing upcoming events, and you guys will get first dibs if you're in the Facebook group. So. Yeah, good stuff. But let's get into drunk deeds. What do we have?
So my favorite couple ever, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker.
They're your favorite couple ever?
At the moment, yes.
Okay, ATM.
Yeah, they're the most relevant couple to me at this time. Because I honestly, I take that back because Megan Fox and MGK are...
You like them too?
Yeah, you don't?
No, I do. I was just wondering. I'm just trying to understand like what your vibe is, you know?
Okay.
They're hard to figure out.
I am. Okay, so there are rumors that Kourtney and Travis got engaged and or married and are expecting a baby. That's a lot going on.
That's what we call the hat trick.
And I'm going to shut the rumors down right now. And I'll tell you why. Because... So basically what people are speculating is that the couple went to Las Vegas and got hitched there because Kourtney's hairstylist posted on like one of his social media platforms a picture of them and said, now I understand why people tie the knot in Vegas. There's nothing like love and a good time. And then Kourtney was later spotted at Disney with like bridal Minnie Mouse ears on. Like it had like a veil on.
And her hairstylist posted a photo of her and Travis saying, I get why people get engaged.
Married. Well, so they were in Vegas for the UFC fight weekend thing. So that's why. But like people are they think that they got engaged in Vegas or not engaged, I'm sorry. They eloped. Yeah, they eloped there while they were there. However, a quick little Google search. So in the state of Nevada, marriage records are public knowledge. So, your girl fact checked. I went on the Las Vegas, Nevada, whatever record thing, and I searched both their last names and they were not on there.
Really? Do you think that people who are that powerful who'd want to keep it a secret could remove their information?
That went through my head. There's a very good chance that they did. That they like pay someone to. Yes. However, why would they go through that? Because I feel like not the average person wouldn't like think to fact check them and like go to the marriage records and like see if it exists. But then why would they be teasing everyone on social media?
I feel like that's what the freaking Kardashians do. Like they're always like throwing out these weird little like teasers, and it's like, oh, are they not? And then they'll make you wait for like 8, 9, 10 months, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I've been married with a like husband and like 6 children now for 15 years. Haha, surprise.
Next thing you know, there's going to be a surprise, another season of the Kardashians, and they're waiting for that.
You're so right. Yeah, I don't know why they tease things anymore, because it's not like they have like a TV show to like try to, like I feel like in the past they'd always create all this drama before the season would come out. So it would like create hype. But
exactly. And then so Travis was seen rubbing Kourtney's stomach in a paparazzi video. Oh. Which like kind of weird, but not that weird. But what really...
If Michael ever rubbed my stomach, I would probably punch him in the face. I'd knock him the freak out.
I know. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I'd like, don't rub my stomach.
Especially in public. Yeah, that's kind of weird. But then also, so fans spotted a baby bump in so Travis posted a black and white video on his Instagram on July 7th of the two of them sitting down at the piano playing piano, and in the video it does look like a baby bump. I'm not gonna lie.
I know there's been times when people have thought that Kendall Jenner had a baby bump because of like the way her stomach looked in like certain shots, and she was like, no, I don't. But was this one like blatantly like noticeably a baby bump?
So yes, I mean, yeah, because she's like fit. Like I feel like does she get bloated? I don't know.
I feel like everyone does.
The Kardashians even? I don't know. But so she's 42 years old. So I was like, can she have kids? But then I remembered she froze some of her eggs a couple years back. So it's definitely not an option.
It's not an option.
Yeah. Like she very much could be pregnant.
Okay.
Which would make baby number 6 because he has 2 kids. Do you know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
And she has 3. That'd be 6. Oh, math.
Fun.
Imagine.
I would fucking hate that.
6 kids.
I feel like I'd be like in rivalry with the children from like the other family. Like, I don't know.
Oh God. So your first marriage better work out.
I know.
Because Shannen can't be a stepmom.
Better work out.
All right. What do we got?
Okay. The next one is honestly nothing like too crazy. So Addison Rae, she's under a lot of heat right now. People are trying to cancel her. I feel like new? Addison Rae has tried to be canceled. Like people have tried to cancel her for like 3 years. Every time I go on Google, it's like Addison Rae is canceled. I'm like, what's new? And she's never actually canceled. So a few different things happened with her. So the first thing that I feel like a lot of people were pissed about, and the reason why they want to cancel her or whatever, is because she was at the UFC fight. She sees Trump there. She says, "Hi, it's nice to meet you." That's literally it. And I guess people are like trying to cancel her because of it. We don't talk about politics on the show. I don't want to really get into it, to be honest. I don't care what her political affiliations are or whatever. I think the thing that really shocked me about this the most wasn't so much that like, okay, she said hi to someone that obviously is like very controversial among so many people. It shocked me that people were so quick to be like, she said hi to him. Okay, canceled. Like she's done. Screw her. Get her the fuck out of here. Like done. Like she's dead to us. Yeah. I think it's interesting because we were talking a few weeks ago about Chrissy Teigen and about how she literally every single day was messaging this girl that she didn't even know, saying like telling her to go kill herself every single day. And like I'm like, yeah, that person shouldn't. Like that person should be canceled. Like they shouldn't be able to put content out there anymore. But then you hear about things like this, and again, not to get into the political side, but just more so thinking about like such a small instance in such a small moment. Right.
It's not like Addison Rae is bullying people, like wishing death on people.
Yeah, and like maybe she
literally said hi to a former president. Like
maybe she just went to someone that she was like, oh wow, damn, like didn't expect to see him here. Hi, like I don't know. I mean, again, like not to get into. I know it's a sensitive subject for a lot of people, so I don't really want to get into it, but I think that it's crazy to me because it really hit me that a lot of people these days, like they need to, I feel like they're almost like living in fear because they're like, I have to like not look the wrong direction. I can't say hi to the wrong person and I'm like screwed and people are like after me at all times. And I feel like especially for so many of these TikTokers, a lot of them, I mean, Addison, I think just turned 20. Like a lot of them are teenagers. And I feel like they're making mistakes that oftentimes, like we've talked about with like the D'Amelios or whatever, they're making mistakes that teenagers make, like saying something inappropriate or talking to the wrong person, and they're getting like harassed on social media about it. Whereas like you or me, we might have got like sent to detention and like called it a day.
Dude, one of the D'Amelios, I don't know if it was Dixie or Charlie, recently like they tried to cancel her because a video surfaced of her twerking at a party.
Wait, who, Dixie or Charlie?
I don't know which one. It was one of the.
I want to know which one.
It was on the BFFs podcast. Like Dave, Brianna, and Josh were talking about it, and they were like, she literally twerks on her TikTok all the time. So why are they coming at her for twerking at a party?
Just
like,
because it was at a party. I feel like
okay, so you're trying to tell me your knees, what's the song? Knees on your elbow song in 8th grade. You weren't twerking on the dance floor in 8th grade.
I was twerking on the dance floor way before 8th grade. Let's be real. When I was like 10.
So maybe like take a step back and like look at yourself, because they shouldn't be canceled for literally the most things that don't matter.
Isn't Charlie 18 at this point?
It doesn't even matter.
You know the shit I was doing when I was a freshman in college at 18? Like the shit that we did at 18 years old in college should never be repeated. It's because of the whole like America's sweetheart image.
Yeah.
Same shit happened to Britney Spears. Like she had the whole image of like the perfect, like, you know, virgin, like young girl, like such a sweetheart. And then when she started becoming an adult and started doing regular adult things, people were like slut shaming her. So like, let's not do that to Charlie or to Dixie or whoever. Because if you're 18 and you want to go to a party and twerk, that's within your right. Do whatever the hell you want. Exactly. That just pisses me off.
I agree.
But yeah, so circling back to Addison Rae, the second thing that I guess kind of pissed people off. So she ended up getting a job, she said, as like a correspondent for UFC. So like being like an announcer or whatever, like in the front, like interviewing people, whatever.
That's cool.
Yes. So she didn't like directly say like, oh, they hired me full time, but she kind of teased it. Like she posted like a photo of herself with like the microphone in front of her, like in front of the backdrop of the UFC. Obviously she looks stunning. And she said like going to like a semester of, you know, like I'd like to thank my like semester of like journalism schooling for getting me here, because obviously she dropped out of college after like a semester.
Don't tell me that had negative repercussions.
It did, because everyone was like, this is something that most people have to go to school for 4 years for and work their way up, and she just like slides in and gets it so easily, like freaking out about it. Which like sure, like I get it, like people get upset, but I'm also like, that's what happens when you're a celebrity and you have a huge following. You can kind of get whatever you want. Like that's kind of the point. Like what do you mean? Like I wish I could have a private jet, but I don't, because I'm not a celebrity. Like I feel like that was the stupidest thing. And then she posted the next day and was like, never mind, y'all got me fired. I don't know what happened, but like I guess the UFC was like, we never like had her on as like a full-time correspondent. She was only on for like special events. So I don't really know exactly what happened. It was just kind of like
that's so
a
sad.
Big dramatic thing, but I just feel like people need to slow their roll and chill. Maybe go outside, have a breath of fresh air.
Maybe put down your phone for a minute and stop criticizing other people's life.
Yes. No, literally, that's like the comment that I sent you from. So Maggie McDonald, who we had on the podcast a few weeks ago, again, like the sweetest, nicest person ever, like so sweet. So she posted a vlog of herself like in New York City, and she basically was like, yeah, like I love that New York City is a walking city. You know, Boston isn't really as much of like a walking city. You can walk everywhere in New York City. I love it. And someone was like ripping her apart. They were like, really? You don't think Boston's a walking city enough for you? Like blah, 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 blah. Like it totally is. Like that's what it's known for. It's like 2 miles long. Like,
bitch, where?
Freaking out. And I literally
where's that known?
I don't know why, but sometimes I get this weird inner troll that comes out in me. So I comment back at them.
You get very mad very randomly.
I know. Random things. Like I comment back at them. I'm like, oh really? I was like, none of my friends in New York City have cars because you walk everywhere. I was like, everyone in Boston does, because you can't get from one place to another. I was like, you can't get from freaking Southie to the North End. No one's doing that. I was like, why don't you enjoy the video and shut the fuck up? I was like freaking out. And Abby was like, where did that come from? I
know. I kind of loved it though. I loved every second of it.
Amazing. But yeah, that's all we got for drunk dates this week. Minor freak out there.
It's okay. Honestly, we got Maggie's back. We got Addison's back. We got everyone's back.
We have everyone's back here. That's the thing about us.
We're going to cancel the cancelers.
Yes. Cancel those that are trying to cancel.
Is that a hypocrite?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't care. Honestly, I don't give a shit. Whatever.
Okay. Let's move on. So Shannen came to me Saturday night.
Yes.
With sometimes things just come to us when we're just living life, and we come up with ideas for the podcast like in real time. And she texted me on a Saturday night, and
I was like, is this how people feel? Like, is this what people do?
Yeah. So tell the people what triggered that.
So basically, I was sitting there with my sister and her boyfriend, and they were talking, and they're actually, this is happening tonight, like as we speak. But so her friend, her boyfriend's best friend, let's call him Freddie. Picturing him being a Freddie. So Freddie, I guess, texted like his whole group chat. There's like 10 of them in there, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm bringing a girl that I'm dating out to dinner, in 2 nights." And he was like, "I really want all of you to be there to meet her, because if you guys don't like her / think that she fits in with the vibe of our group, I don't want to continue seeing her."
Okay, wait. So how deep is he with this girl?
Okay.
Like, how long have they been hanging out individually? Do you know?
There is some context. Like, there's like, they have a history. So they did used to date like a while back, but I think they're kind of like rekindling the flame, and he wants to know like what her intentions are and if she like fits into like the vibe. So he's like, you know what? I think he went out with her like last week or something, but he's like, let me bring her, and like, I want you guys all to be at dinner, and I want you to give me feedback after on how you feel. And if you don't like her, I won't continue seeing her. So I texted Abby, and I was like, whoa. Like, I'm so confused. I was like, is this what guy, like, do you guys do this? Do you guys care what their friends think? So then we went and we texted like our other guys in like our other group chat, where we're always asking them for like advice. We're like, do you guys think this? Do you guys think that? What do you guys do with this? And we were like, what do you guys think? And a few of them replied, and they were like, yeah, if I brought a girl around and I just started dating her, my friends didn't like her, I'd probably like stop talking to her.
Right. But so we love our friends dearly, but they're single, so we take what they say with a grain of salt. So we were like, okay, I appreciate your opinion, but we need to see what other people are thinking, because we need to hear from a variety of men. So we decided that we would take it to our Instagram, and we asked you guys a series of questions on our Instagram, like a bunch of polls, and honestly, it was the most like responses we've ever gotten. So I feel like there's a lot of people out there that feel very strongly about this topic.
Yeah.
Is that just me?
No, I completely agree with you. We had a bunch of people kind of come forward, like sharing what they thought. We asked guys, we were like, do you guys care if your friends like your girlfriend? And pretty much everyone said yes. Like 75% of people said yes.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised that it was 75% said yes, because I feel like there's in my opinion, such a huge difference between guys and girls. Because I mean, especially I've talked about this on the podcast. I've lost a lot of girlfriends because of reasons like I didn't like their boyfriend or they didn't like my boyfriend, and it creates
no
conflicts.
one was willing to do anything about it. Right.
Yeah. And so, but I feel like you never hear that about guys. Like, guys don't really fight about like that, but like, it's nice to know that they do care. It's just, it just goes to show that their guys are way more mature because they're not as emotional as girls.
I mean, they just go about it in a different way. Like, they don't take it like I feel like girls, like, we take it personally. Like, if I don't like my friend's boyfriend, like, I feel like it like hurts me. I'm like, how could she date him? Like, knowing like what we have.
Well, so we asked the same question for the girls. Like, do you care if your friends don't like your boyfriend? And 91% said yes.
Yeah.
But I think that's interesting because so literally 320 girls said yes.
Yeah.
And that's a stupid amount of girls because it doesn't make sense because you care, but yet you still stay with him. So your actions aren't lining up.
I feel like with girls, it really depends on whether or not they like the guy. So like, if I'm trying to put myself into these shoes, if I was dating a guy that I was just like been on a few dates with, and like, you know, a guy that you can go on dates with and he's like a fun dater, but he's not someone that you see a future with. Like, when I was single, I had guys I'd go on dates with and I was like, oh my God, they're so fun, like whatever. But I was like, oh no. Like, I would never like pursue a relationship with this person.
I feel like there's guys that you can enjoy alone and not in a group setting.
Exactly. But like, I think if I brought a guy around my friends who I didn't yet have feelings for and they were like, oh, like he's a douchebag, I'd probably ditch him without a second thought. I do think that the issue comes up though is that girls, when they do like a guy, I think girls fall a little bit faster and guys fall a little bit harder, but like later on.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes by the time like your friends meet them, you might have already kind of passed that threshold where you already like the guy a lot, and like the meeting of the friends is like a, oh my gosh, like I'm head over heels over him. I think by that point, if people are trying to like tell you like, oh, look, I don't know if he's the greatest, I feel like it's hard to persuade a girl when she like really is kind of into a guy. I think maybe it takes guys a little bit longer to get there in terms of feelings. So maybe when they bring this girl around their friends, if the friends aren't a fan, they might just be like, oh yeah, like I don't really like her yet anyways. Like who really cares?
Right. So we also asked for the boys, have you ever stopped talking to a girl / broke up with a girl because your friends didn't like her? And this was really split. Like this was 49% and 49% said yes and 51% said no. And I thought that was interesting because did you think it was going to be more or less for yes?
Honestly, I thought it would be less. Like I feel like less yes, like to literally like be like, even when like the Freddie story like approached me, I was kind of like shocked because I was like, oh really? Like I don't know, I guess like when I'm talking to someone, this might be like an egotistical thing, like I'd like to think I was a good enough like judge of character that like I would be like, okay, this guy is likable, my friends would like him. But I do think however
I think love can be blind.
Oh true.
We've talked about the rose colored glasses, and I think
what were you gonna say, rose colored flip-flops?
I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest, but I think that it's important. So I think that like, I don't know if this is just me, but I think that when you're first starting to talk to a guy, like you have those rose colored glasses on, you feel like they can do no wrong and they're perfect and whatever, and you might not be seeing things that your friends can see. So honestly, I think people shouldn't wait to introduce them to your friends. I feel like meeting the friends is such a big deal, but I feel like that should be something you should do from day one.
Like first date. So like a guy's asking me out on a first date and I'm like, okay, great. And you bring like 10 of your friends and you're like, I just want to make sure that
motherfucker.
Surprise, bitch. No, actually I don't hate that. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool that like 50% of guys could come forward and be like, yeah, if like I would end stuff with her if my friends didn't fuck with her. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then we asked you guys for examples. So I feel like sometimes as a girl or as a guy or whoever, it's hard to know what you're doing wrong. You're like, okay, I keep getting invited to these like hangouts with the person I'm seeing, and then I'm never asked back on another date. So we asked you guys like what you don't like if your guy, if one of like your boys brings around a girl and like you don't like her, like what she's doing wrong.
Yeah. So I would say the most common thing that we saw is if she doesn't make an effort to get to know the boys.
Yes, like
that's huge.
We got a ton of responses. Like literally, majority of them were like, "Oh, when it's obvious that she's not putting in an effort to like get to know the guys."
Yeah, it was like makes no effort to get to know us. If she doesn't acknowledge the boys, if she doesn't talk in social settings or try to get to know anyone, like
it was kind of like cute, but like sad. Is like one guy commented, I don't even know where it is on here, but I read it and he was like, when she doesn't try to like acknowledge his guy friends, and then he was like, we were here first.
I know, I saw that.
I thought that was so cute because I was like, that's true. Accurate. I feel like I get so like possessive over my girlfriends. Yeah. Because I'm like, whoa. I've been with her for years and I will be holding her hand as I pass away. Like, what do you like maybe you guys get married and you have a lovely life together, but you could also just be a blimp on her freaking radar. Like, I was here first.
Yeah. Well, I think meeting his friends is like meeting the parents. Like, you are there to impress them, not the other way around. Like, yes, you need to bring your A game. Like, you need to be like, this shouldn't be like, oh, like I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna like they should like me. Like, no, like, bitch, you need to make them like you. You need to act accordingly, because if they don't like you, the second you leave, they're gonna tell their boy and be like, dude, she sucks, she's not even fun.
One thing that someone wrote was when she comes to things that are designated boys' nights. Oh yeah, like I feel like it's almost like that's like she can't even let him out of her sight.
I know.
Like, that's a big one.
Dude, I get so paranoid about that. I remember, I don't know where you were. You were like gone for a weekend, but Mr. Man was hanging out with Michael and a couple of their friends during the day. And then like at night, he like invited me to come to like your apartment. Like they were all hanging out there and it was just like the boys, and he invited me and I would have been the only girl. And I was like no. Like I would have felt comfortable doing so, but I was like, no, like have guy time. I know you had guy time all day, but like continue. And I showed up like literally like 30 minutes before he wanted to leave, so it was fine. But I was like, no, I don't really
you just like wanted to give them that time.
Yeah, because I think that's so important. Literally so many guys were like, if she doesn't let her guy like have boys nights, like that's a huge red flag, and they're gonna automatically hate you.
100%. Another thing that someone wrote was when she doesn't get the funny shit boys do and has a crappy attitude.
Honestly though, because
I feel like that's so true. You almost have to
boys will be boys.
Guys are gonna have their inside jokes. Like you go into a circle of boys, chances are they're not as funny as they think they are. That's any group of men thinks that they're like the fucking funniest thing since sliced bread. They're like, oh dude, classic, no cap, like freaking out. And like sure, like maybe sometimes they're stupid.
Yeah.
You just need to, on those first few dates, like you're working for that good review, that good girlfriend review, and you just need to like literally lean in and just laugh and be like, oh my god, you guys are so funny, like you guys are hilarious, even if you're like, wow, these are fucking immature idiotic boys.
There's been so many times where like I'll be with Mr. Man and like some of his friends and like someone will be like, oh sorry Abby, because like they'll forget for a second that I'm there and like they might have said something that like they normally wouldn't have if I weren't in the room. And like in that moment, like if you like give them a dirty look or if like you like make them feel weird or awkward or uncomfortable for whatever they said or did, like try not to, because boys will be boys, and like what happens behind closed doors. Hello, closed door.
What happens behind closed doors? Doors. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Doors. Sorry, we have to move on.
We have to.
We must.
What happens at boys' night stays at boys' night. So if things
I keep expecting you to fuck up again.
No, I'm just not going to say doors anymore.
What happens at boys' night
stays at boys' night.
Yes.
So if something slips when you're actually in their presence, like you just gotta like roll with it and like laugh. Like it's not a big deal. And I guarantee much worse is said at boys' night. So just like know that and like get over it.
A few guys wrote in saying when they try to take over his whole life, there's a balance. I feel like this can go in two ways. I feel like first is like we've been talking about, like she's always around, like all the plans are with her, etc. I feel like the second one is almost like being controlling. Like I've seen some girls act like with their boyfriends as if they're their mothers, like very early on in a relationship where they're like, no, you can't eat that, you can't go here. Like they're scheduling everything. The guy's like, oh, I might take a bike tomorrow, and she's like, no, you're not gonna do that, like you're gonna do this instead, this makes more sense.
Ew,
and
stop.
If a girl like acts like that in front of the boys, especially early on, like before they even get to know her, they are going to hate her.
Okay, if she's doing that in private, that's bad, but if she's doing that in public in front of people, that's like, even worse.
I know, it's like
you
what
need
is she
to drop
doing?
her immediately.
I know. I feel like if she's doing that shit in public, then
what is going on in private?
I don't even want to know.
Me neither.
He's like tied up.
She's probably like spoon feeding him with a bib and like wiping his ass.
So if you want like a nanny,
if you want a nanny, that's your girl.
The nanny.
Okay, wait. One thing that a lot of guys said was like if she's a buzzkill, not a good time, or like she doesn't talk in social settings.
I hate that.
Okay, I hate that, but I am that girl.
Like I love that you can be honest though.
No, but I mean, you know me.
You did pop into my head for a second when we were.
Oh my god!
I'm kidding.
Okay, but I get social anxiety.
Yes.
And you know that I don't do well with new people.
You're never like have bad intentions. You're just like you're freaking out internally, and I can see it in your eyes. But like maybe it could come off as like
yeah, like, ugh, I'm better than you, or ugh, I don't want to be here. When that's not the case, it's really just like, because how many times have we even left this building and I'm like, why was I speaking? Why did I speak? Why did I say that in front of these people? Like,
how dare I?
Literally, like most of the times when I talk in social settings, I end up regretting it. So I try to just like minimize it.
You say something you regret.
Yeah, because I get awkward, so I get weird and I say weird shit. So I do think that's super important, but I think like for people like myself who are more introverted and more like they have social anxiety, as long as you like aren't on your phone, like acting disinterested, like body language is very telling. And I mean, you don't need to be the most talkative and the most outgoing person in the room, but if you're like making a point to at least be a part of the conversation, chime in every now and then, ask them questions, pretend like you care if you can.
Yeah. Sit them down, give them like a BuzzFeed survey, like get to know them really
ask
well.
them what their love languages are, like just like put in
ask them if their parents are together or divorced, like just really get into it.
Ask them their social security number.
Honestly too, I feel like if you are someone that really like kind of struggles with social situations, I mean, maybe you shouldn't take my advice, but I don't know. I think one thing I think could work is like, sure, maybe like in a complete group setting, you're not going to be the one that's like talking in front of everyone and like making a big scene. But I think like the one-on-one time, like if you can kind of like have those like asides with like maybe a few of his guy friends, be like, okay, so like getting to know them a little bit one-on-one, it's less pressure than in front of a whole group. That's better. And that way they'll still know that you care. What you don't want is just to like not be engaging at all and come off like you literally just don't give a shit and you're just here for the guy and for what's in his wallet. Let's be honest.
I think what you said though is super. I'm just gonna ignore that. What you said though is super important about being honest with your boyfriend or the guy you're seeing, because I remember. Do you remember when I was at your apartment and Mr. Your Man, like I was going to his house and he like told me that I think like his roommates were having people over or something, and I had a full-blown panic attack and almost didn't go.
Yeah. Can we talk about, are we allowed to talk about that yet?
Yeah, I don't care. Just don't say names.
Oh, no, I don't even know their names, but like they have like a few of those like girls over.
Yeah.
Who are just like friends with his roommates. Like they weren't even his friends. And I remember I saw this like look come across your face and you were like, why are they there? Like, why?
And it wasn't even like I was mad. It wasn't creepy. He told
like,
me he wanted me to meet them and I was like,
he like invited you over to meet them and he was just like, oh yeah, like they're here for the game, like I want you to come over. And he was like begging you to come, and like you were staying in my apartment, and the longer you were there, you created this like narrative in your head where you were like, he's hanging out with these girls, he's not telling me about it, like why are they there, what's happening? I was like, he invited you there like 3 hours ago, just go. And you were like, I don't know if I can go. And he handled it well though, I feel like.
No, he did. But after that was like kind of early on in our relationship, and like you and Michael had like told me, you're like, Abby, like you need to go, you need to prove to him that like you can meet his friends and it not be a big deal. And I was like, okay, all right, I got this. I kept saying that for like an hour. I was proud of you though. Yeah,
but you told him too. I did. You were honest with him. You were like, hey, like to be honest with you, it was really hard for me to do this, but like
I'm coming.
You handled it well. And you were like, I'm coming. And I feel like because you were honest with him, he knew not to put you in like a super high pressure situation when you got there. And he made it like super chill and like relaxed, which I thought was nice of him.
I honestly don't remember what happened when I got there. I could have made a bad impression, but I wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly. I also feel like the flip side of this, I feel like on this episode, we're kind of coming at the girls and we're like, act like this and do this and look like a Victoria's Secret model and be super outgoing and whatever. At the end of the day, if you're like maybe not the most social person, or you do get a little bit of anxiety and you're honest with the guy you're seeing and he doesn't give a shit and he's like throwing you in these like weird situations, or like he's like all about the boys and like doesn't give a shit about you, like ditch the guy. I feel like that's the other thing we should definitely put out there. Like this isn't one-sided. At any point you can decide you don't want to talk to him. I think this is like if you have a catch and you have a really great guy that you like, I think this is important like in that setting. Okay. And then another thing that a guy said was when she attacks his ex out of jealousy, I don't even want to read the rest. I totally forgot this was the one. He said, by Superman jumping across the crowded dance floor. This actually happened to me.
That is wild. Please. Because I'm just still in awe that this happened.
Okay. So I've never told the story on this before, but
get your popcorn.
I wasn't going to until my friend Dylan, shout out Dylan, put this on there like to answer our question. So back in college, I had gotten out of a relationship that wasn't great, whatever. I started dating Michael. Everything was perfect. And I guess the guy that I had been dating started dating a new girl who was an insane person. Let's call her Brittany, like a crazy, crazy person. So anyways, like she ended up like, I think taking his phone, like blocking me on social media, texting me saying, I never want to hear from you again, like deleting my number, blocking me, whatever. But like, I didn't care because at that point I was over it. I was like, I don't care about this guy.
You were already seeing Michael at this point.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I didn't care. I was
literally
like,
did not care.
So we were at this party like a few months later and she happens to be there, which again, like I didn't think was a big deal. I went with Michael and my friend.
You would think like time has passed, she'd be over it.
Well, also with the fact that like she was dating my ex-boyfriend. Like I should be the one that like would be upset, right. But I didn't care because I was now with Michael. Yeah. Right. So I was at this party. Like I knew she was going to be there. I didn't really care. Like it was my best friend Dylan's place. So obviously I was going to go. So I go there. I guess like she was like locked in the room, like screaming. Like people were holding her like in the room, like trying not to let her escape. Like a wild animal, like a cheetah, like just like growling and like scratching at the door, like trying to get out. She was like, unleash me. And like all these guys like all night were like bringing her like, you know, bread and water, trying to like keep her alive, like as she like had a meltdown. And I was like, it was so awkward. I was like, should I like leave? And Dylan was like, no, like you're here, like it's my party, whatever.
How long before
we're having so much? It was like a packed party, like so fun, like shoulder to shoulder, was a blast. Like all of my friends were there. It's our whole friend group. She didn't even go to our school, I wanted to add. Ugh. She's like from another school and she's just like causing a scene. So I was like, why is this girl so upset? And she was just like jealous that I used to date him or whatever. So she comes out of the room finally. I think she like persuades like the guards to let her out. And she's like getting she's getting a drink or something. I'm in the living room talking to my friends. She decides, I see out of the corner of my eye her ascend onto the top of like the like I see her ascend onto the top of the counter, like the island, and all of a sudden out of my peripheral I see this bitch jump like Superman jump across the entire party, like with her arms like straight forward. She had mascara streaming down her face and she looked like possessed and she was like like literally jumping in midair and like I literally didn't even have a second to think. All of a sudden she's like on top of me, like on the floor and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Did you start wrestling?
I didn't know. In my head I was like, there's no way this just happened. I'm not like a drama causer. I was like, what the hell?
Were you drunk at this point? Like,
no, I was dead sober because I was a little concerned that there was like a wild animal in the room like all night trying to escape and kill me. She was saying to people, she's like, I want to kill Shannon. And I was like, okay. So anyway, she's like, we're rolling around. She's like on top of me. She's trying to like punch me, but we were both really small girls. Like I'm 5'2". She was probably like 4'11". Like she's small. Like she wasn't scary. So she's like trying to like punch me and I'm just kind of like grabbing, like it was the worst fight of all time. So eventually she realizes, she's like, okay, the only thing that's left is to go for the hair. So she gets like on top of me, like from behind, grabs my ponytail and just starts yanking it out of my head. And I'm just like going back and she's just like yanking it around the floor. Meanwhile, my boyfriend and like 3 other dudes are like, what the hell do we,
I would have paid
like, they're like, what is this little chinchilla doing? So like they grab the girl and they pick her up, but because she had my ponytail, they pick her up. They pick me up too by the freaking ponytail. So I'm like flailing around in the wind and they're like flapping like those things in front of the gas station that are just like,
oh my God, did you press charges?
No. And she's like, whatever. So finally Michael grabs her, like brings her downstairs, puts her outside. He's like, please have a nice life. Like closes the door behind us. And we're like, we got to get out of here. Like, so we leave. Like my scalp is like basically bleeding at this point. And it was just like the most insane night. Eventually we ended up leaving. I mean, she must have been drinking, I'm assuming, because she was acting crazy.
She probably was.
We leave. She ends up leaving the apartment, running down the hallway to get to me. She had found like a different entrance, like a trap door or some shit. She's running to me, like sprinting. My friend Brenna, who's another like 90-pound girl, comes and bashes her into the wall. She's like, leave my friend alone.
Wait, who did that?
My friend Brenna. And then
I love that.
we leave and we called the cops, like, because we were like, she was like following us. We called the cops. We were like, we don't know what to do. And I guess they ended up coming and they were like, we had gotten, they're like, we've gotten 7 different like calls from like concerned neighbors like around like Main Street. Yeah, like we were walking down Main Street and she was like following us and she was like yelling that she wanted to kill me. So there was like a bunch of people who lived there who were like calling the cops and we're like, I think there's like a girl that's really drunk, like she needs to be like taken in. So they ended up
I need you
arresting
to show me a photo of her when we are done with this.
I will. They ended up, I mean, she's cute.
But I need to see if I can see the crazy in her.
You could. You definitely, she had like that look. They arrest her, they take her in. They asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said, no, I just don't want to be harassed anymore.
Is that too much to ask?
She ends up like going home. The best part of the entire story the next day, I'm like, okay, that was a wild night. Whatever. Good times. Like, you know, college, classic, whatever. I'm like, getting up, minding my business. I get a text from a random number. It says, hey girl, it's me, Brittany. Last night was so wild. Like, sorry things were like so crazy, but like, you know, it was a little bit dramatic. I had a little bit too much to drink, but like, LOL. Anyways, like, let me know if you'd ever want to like hang out or like grab a drink or like grab a coffee and like talk about it. I just got out of the shower. Like, let me know what your schedule is. Would love to meet up. Haha. Like, love you so much, girl. Like, literally, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm not meeting up with you, you psychopath. And I just like didn't reply.
She probably would have killed you. And
I was like, who the fuck gave her my number? Like, why?
She probably stole it out of your ex-boyfriend's phone.
Probably.
What do you mean?
Insane.
That's the easy
to this
answer.
day, sometimes I'm like walking around the city and I'm like, she's probably out there somewhere.
Yeah, you need to keep tabs on her because she still might be mad.
I know. I feel like.
Okay, so moral of the story is attacking exes or talking negatively about exes is just not a good look. No. Don't do it.
Sorry, we just digressed so much.
No, that story was
I don't know where
amazing.
that came from.
If you guys have a story to top that, please let us know of like a crazy ex or a crazy jealous new or past girlfriend, boyfriend, anything.
We love to hear the crazy ex stories. Yeah. I feel like girls will do anything. Sometimes I feel like it's a competition, like who can be the craziest. Yeah. Sometimes it's fun. I honestly, I get it. I totally get it.
Okay. Okay. So let's dive back into what girls do wrong that make guys not like their.
I know we had a few more. So we
yeah.
we basically got through all the ones you guys, well, the top ones at least that we liked that you guys gave us. We had some thoughts too that we wanted to share that I feel like are pretty important.
Yeah. And so, okay. So I think that if you are negatively impacting his life, his friends are going to know. If you guys are constantly fighting, if you're constantly stressing him out, if he is constantly upset or angry because of you and because of like fights that you guys are having, his friends are going to pick up on that and they're going to know if his overall vibe is like off. And they're going to know they're going to do the math. They're going to be like, okay, new girl in his life. He is significantly less happy. It's her fault.
Yeah, all of a sudden Jasper doesn't seem like himself. They're gonna know it's you.
Yeah,
100%.
If you are impacting his mood and overall quality of life that early on, it's probably a red flag that you guys aren't meant to be.
Yes.
But that is something I think that, you know, his friends will pick up on. So maybe just like not be crazy.
Maybe just don't be crazy. I was thinking it's like a quality of life or lifestyle thing. Like I think sometimes people really like each other, but maybe they just don't have like the same interests. Like if he's always like going out to like bars with his friends, like clubs, situations like that, and you can't handle it, like you could never handle being with someone like that, even if he's the best guy in the world, like it might not work. Which I know sounds kind of superficial because it's like he should just give up that stuff. But like if that's what makes him happy and like you're more someone that wants to stay in and just like have like a low-key night with like 2 or 3 people, like that could be something to consider when getting into a relationship.
Yeah, I think you need to have similar lifestyles or be able to respect each other having different lifestyles
handle it.
Or it won't work out.
Another one that we thought was super important. So when he is with his guy friends, like let's say he's having a boys' night, are you constantly blowing up his phone? This is, I think, really, really big. So like his guy friends haven't seen him in a while and he finally goes out with them.
You let him off the leash. He's having a night or a weekend with the boys.
You're texting him
you can't let him breathe.
Yes, you're texting him every 2 seconds and you're FaceTiming him and you're like, hey, honey boo. I think of like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days when like she shows up at like the poker night for the boys and she's like, hi, Benny Bear. Just like, guys hate that shit. Don't do it.
Okay, so another thing that I think will make his friends hate you is if you are being high maintenance or overall just bratty or making things difficult. And what I mean by this is, so I actually have a story to go with this. So I was meeting one of my best friend's boyfriend new boyfriend for the first time. And we went out. It was like me, my best friend, one of our other friends, and then her new boyfriend and one of his friends. So it was like the 5 of us out at a bar, and the night was going great, whatever.
Swimmingly.
Yeah, everything was going great until literally me and my 2 girlfriends, we decided like we wanted to go to another bar, right?
Right.
You would normally think that that's fine.
Classic,
that's normal.
a nice little light bar
we
hop.
we were there for a couple hours. We wanted to it was like 10 p.m. Like we wanted to go somewhere new.
Right.
And so we had mentioned it to her boyfriend. And oh my God, did he throw the biggest tantrum I've ever seen?
A guy?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's high maintenance. Like literally, I'm not kidding. He threw a tantrum and we were like, all right, fine, we'll stay. And then it got to the point where no, we want to go. So we left, the 5 of us left, and we were walking to the other bar, and he just would not stop. And I was kind of not sober. So I took it upon myself to, put him in his place, and I did. And I literally yelled at him the first night that I met him.
This is your first time meeting him?
This is my first time meeting him. But I was honestly, like I said, this goes both ways for the guys and for the girls, regardless of if it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You are there to impress them. You are there to impress the friends, not the other way around. That night, he should have been you know what? I'm meeting my new girlfriend's best friend for the first time. I want to make a good impression. I want to do whatever's going to make them happy. It wasn't a weird request. We just wanted to go somewhere new after a couple hours.
Yeah, I feel it's just being a brat. If you're going to be a brat, on the very first night, I feel
that's a red flag.
Yeah. And I feel I've heard my guy friends always say oh, that girl sucked.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there being a brat, complaining about the food, just hating everything, just being high maintenance,
yeah,
ugh, I can't.
They're going to hate you, because I certainly did hate him for their entire relationship, and they obviously broke up after a couple of years. But I mean, thank God, because she deserves better.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I think moral of the story, guys, obviously those are a ton of examples, and there's so many more. Me and Abby said, we could lament about this for probably hours. Days and days and days, yeah. Because there are so many things that are annoying, when you have to meet your friends, significant other, whether it be a boy or a girl or whatever. I think in the end of the day, him, you may not be dating a guy that would end things with you because his friends don't like you. To put it blankly, we got 50-50 reply, right? So maybe you're listening to this and you're well, why the hell do I care that much? If the guy really likes me. I think sometimes it could depend on if you're dating a guy's guy or not. I know I always joke that if Michael, when he brought me home to meet his friends, if they didn't like me, I feel I would have been gone by date 2. Mm-hmm. Just because he is such a guy's guy. But even if you're dating someone that isn't like that, and the guy you're with is a little bit more not really going to be influenced by his friends, I think it still really matters.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
We talked about this actually on one of our very first podcasts a year ago. I don't remember what it was called at this point. But back when we were only on YouTube, and we kind of briefly mentioned this, but you don't want to have your man's friends against you. It's so dangerous.
No, you want his friends on your side, because you know what happens when you guys get into a fight and you're not on their good side? They are egging him on she sucks, break up with her, you deserve better, let's go to the bar, let's find you a new girl,
100%.
That literally happens, because I have guy friends and I've seen it happen when they don't like the girl. They could give 2 shits whether or not that relationship succeeds.
No, and even if they're not vocal about it, because I know a guy isn't gonna meet a girl and instantly go up to his friend and be oh yeah, dude, she sucked. That's probably not gonna happen.
They can be low-key
feeling that way for a while, and then the guy comes home and is oh, I just got into a huge fight with freaking Becky. They're gonna be Becky's a dumb bitch. We freaking hate Becky. You can do so much better. Screw Becky, she's a dumb whatever. They're gonna go off and tell the guy how they feel, and just having that is going to hurt you in the long run. If you all couples fight, right? So if you get the guy friends to love you and
It's gonna make
they're
your life
obsessed with
easier.
you, even if you get into a fight, they're gonna be like, oh man, that sucks. Like, hope you guys can work it out. And like, maybe they'll say something shitty about you, but like in the end of the day, they're not gonna be egging the guy on to break up with you.
Right. And I feel like guys can be a little bit conniving, like more than you would think, because I think, and I don't think this really applies to us in our mid to late 20s.
I think some of our guy friends are extremely conniving.
Yes. However, I would say like this happened. I saw this a lot in college where like some of, I wouldn't even call them my guy friends, just guys that I know, they would purposely post things on social media to try to piss off the girl. Like if like let's say like me and my ex would get into a fight, like his friends would post things of like them at a party knowing that it's going to piss me off.
Right.
Like they do petty shit like that.
You're so right. Like they'd put something like, on their Instagram story, like not like,
or Snap story, whatever.
Not like of him like kissing another girl, but like in a situation that they know would like piss the girl off.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen a lot.
I feel like that's more kind of petty, like younger crowd vibe. Like I really don't think people in our lives now would do that, but it definitely, if you're in college listening to this, like I could see that.
You want to basically have the guy friends working for you, and you want to befriend them like really early on, develop a personal relationship with them. Like I know one thing that we have is we have like a group chat with two of like our boyfriends' best friends, and our boyfriends aren't even in the group chat. It's just us and their friends, where we just like bounce ideas off. We joke around all the time. Like,
and I think
at this point, yes, and at this point,
well,
like,
at least me, because I haven't known them as long as you.
Exactly, and like at this point, it's like their friends are like your friends, like my friends.
Right.
So like when we're like out and about and stuff, I feel like they have our backs because of the fact that we made such an effort. Actually, Michael's old roommate, we talk about him all the time, Mac. He didn't like me for years because Michael and I had a little bit of a topsy-turvy, twirly-whirly relationship for a while, and he was his roommate at the time, and I didn't have the best reputation in their apartment.
He had to live with
he lived with Michael when I wasn't like the Shannen that like I feel like a lot of his friends knew me as like in college and stuff. So he didn't love me like for years, and I think he was dating this girl that like I worked with that didn't like me and would just like talk shit about me and stuff. So I think he just had a bad idea of like who I was. So anyways, and I didn't put the effort in. Like I wasn't there a lot. I didn't get to try to get to know him.
So what changed?
And his opinion impacted Michael so much. Michael ended up breaking up with me at one point, not because of like him specifically, but something that he said was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and he ended up ending stuff with me like 2 years ago, partially because of that. Not that it was Mac's fault, because he was totally like justified.
His friends are mainly single. That is also a huge like
good point.
You know,
because
if all of his friends are single, you're fucked.
Yeah,
but if all of his friends are in relationships,
they're usually welcoming, like more welcoming. Yeah, because I feel like all of like the single guys don't want to see like the first fallen soldier. Like they don't want to lose their guy friend. But yeah, no, honestly, like I didn't put the effort in. He didn't like me and like would always like talk shit about me to Michael, and it did end up like causing like a lot of issues in our relationship. And I feel like over the past year, like him and I have gotten so close. I put in such an effort to get to know him, and now he's like one of my best friends, and we have like the best relationship ever. But it's just crazy how it works. So I do feel like it's something that's super important, and I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah. Moral of the story: don't be crazy. Don't be high maintenance. Let your boyfriend have boys' nights and boys' weekends away. Don't blow up his phone when he's out, and just generally try to get to know his friends. They'll see right through you if you're being fake and ungenuine.
You're gonna have way more control if you can befriend the friends and then do little sneaky things to try to control the entire group, rather than to try to be like you versus the friends, because in the end of the day, like they will always win. Guy will always pick his guy friends over you. Sorry.
Yeah.
In the end of the day.
Yeah. Like I know who, like, you know, you don't go to school to find your husband. You go to school to find your bridesmaids.
Oh, that's cute. That's adorable. Is that like a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I've heard that before.
You probably have.
It's cute.
I'm the OG quote repeater.
You are. I feel like you have credit. You always share like a very like deep quote Gandhi on this podcast, vibe. And I'm like, wow, that's
I try.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all for this week, guys. Thank you so much for listening and bearing with us. This weekend, I want everyone to get out there, have a fun time, shoot your shot, go on dates, meet your boyfriend's friends, be a nice, classy bitch. Don't get into fights unless you're gonna jump across a table and take a girl out and pull her hair out. Definitely,
I guess really go big or go home.
Go big or go home is what we're trying to say. Either be a complete crazy lunatic and like give everyone a show, or just be, you know, Be nice.
And while you're at it, give us a like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure that you're subscribed and or following us so that you can get, if you turn on your post notifications, you will know every time that we post a new episode.
Honestly, I get a little smile when I see like, oh, Drinks After Work posted something. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I think it's kind of cute. So definitely subscribe and turn on your notification bell. If you're on Apple, please. Please.
She said please.
Please. I would love it if you guys gave us a rating and a review. We would love 5 stars. I think that'd be great. That would really make our life.
5 or bust.
5 or above. If you can hit above. But yeah, so definitely make sure that you guys give us a rating and a review on there. We'd really appreciate it. And yeah, other than that, we have a big week ahead. We're going to be hitting our 1-year anniversary this coming weekend. I'm going to New York City. So kind of did a quick little spontaneous trip. I didn't give you enough notice. I literally told Abby like 2 days ago, I was like, want to go to New York? She was like, okay, why would you? She was like, you could have texted me like 3 weeks ago.
Mr. Man and I are house sitting in Rhode Island. So we've already done a hometown date. Like he's already like done the whole thing.
Don't say hometown date. I'm thinking of The Bachelor.
Well, that was where that's the vibe I was going for. We already had a hometown date, but we'll be in Rhode Island this whole weekend. Yes. And I have a whole itinerary for a bunch of beaches and restaurants.
I miss you. I wish.
I'll probably see you in a week.
I know.
Today.
I wish I told you about New York before.
It's okay. Have so much fun. Thank you guys for listening.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say though, if anyone has any recommendations of like places to go, like we've already made a ton of reservations, but if anyone is gonna be in New York this weekend,
how long are you going for?
I'm going on like Friday at like noon or like 1 p.m. Just coming back.
You took
Sunday.
A half day.
I'm gonna be working via hotspot in the train. So if anyone has any recommendations of things to do, if anyone's going to be in New York City, let me know. I'd love to meet up and grab a drink. That would be so much fun. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll let you take it away, baby.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. See you fuckers next week. Love you. Bye. Cheers.